Have you ever wondered what it really feels like to leave everything behind and move to another country? To start a new life in a new place, surrounded by a new language, new people, and endless unknowns. Today, we're going on a short journey together, a journey into the life of someone who decided to take that brave step and start fresh abroad. You'll experience the excitement, the fears, the loneliness, and the growth that come with living in a completely different world. But that's not all. As we explore this emotional story, you'll also improve your English naturally and effectively through shadowing and listening practice. You'll train your ear, your accent, and your speaking rhythm, all while connecting deeply with a real human story. So grab your headphones, focus your mind, and let's begin this immersive shadowing session together. Let's dive into the journey of starting over, life in a new country. I remember the day I stepped off that plane, jet lagged, nervous, excited, all at once. The airport felt like another planet. Loud, bright, full of signs I could barely read. I dragged my suitcase through the crowd, trying to act confident, even though my heart was racing. Inside, I kept thinking, oh, what have I gotten myself into? People rushed by, talking fast, grabbing coffee, laughing, and I just stood there, realizing I'm really here. No more plans, no more waiting. This is it. My new life begins now. The first challenge came fast, finding my apartment. I had booked a tiny studio online, but I had no idea where it actually was. I showed the taxi driver the address, pronouncing every word slowly and carefully. He smiled, nodded, and said something super fast. I smiled back, pretending I understood. I didn't. That was my first lesson. Be patient, speak clearly, and sometimes just laugh it off and go with the flow. When I finally got to the apartment, reality hit me. No food, no Wi-Fi, no SIM card, and no clue how public transport worked. So I made myself a survival plan. First, get food. Second, get connected. Third, figure out the buses. My first trip to the supermarket felt like solving a puzzle. The brands were unfamiliar. The labels made no sense. I spent 5 minutes just trying to find salt. Still, I told myself, one step at a time. You've got this. Evenings were the hardest. Outside, the city was glowing with life. Inside, my tiny apartment was quiet. Too quiet. That's when homesickness truly hit me for the first time. I missed my family, my friends, even my favorite coffee shop back home. I sat on the balcony, looking at the skyline, and whispered, "It's okay to feel lost. It's okay to miss home." That's part of the journey. Growth doesn't always feel comfortable. Sometimes it hurts first. Over the next few days, I made myself a promise to go out every single day, even if it feels awkward, even if it scares you a little. So I started walking through random streets, exploring new corners of the city. I noticed everything: the architecture, the street art, even the way people said hello. I smiled at strangers. Some smiled back, some didn't. But it didn't matter. Every small connection made me feel a little less like a stranger. One afternoon, I got totally lost trying to find a cute little cafe. My GPS froze. My phone battery was dying. Panic started to rise. Then I remembered a quote: "Every problem is just an opportunity in disguise." So I asked a local for help. They not only showed me the way, but also told me about a weekend market and the best pastry shop in the area. That moment taught me something. Asking for help isn't weakness, it's courage. By the end of the first week, I was still figuring things out, but I was proud of myself. Every tiny win, buying bread, finding the right bus, understanding a new phrase, felt like a personal victory. At night, I started writing things down. New words, funny mistakes, little lessons. Looking back, I realized something simple but powerful. Real growth doesn't happen overnight. It happens slowly, moment by moment, word by word, step by step, day by day. After the first week, I started focusing on work. And honestly, that was a whole new world. The office was buzzing with energy. Meetings were fast. People joked around using slang I'd never heard in my life. Half the time, I just smiled and nodded, hoping I wasn't agreeing to something weird. I remember writing my first report and thinking, is this even correct English? My hands were literally shaking when I hit send, but instead of overthinking, I decided to ask for help. I went to a colleague and said, hey, could you check this for me? I want to make sure I'm doing it right. They smiled and said, of course. Everyone starts somewhere. That one line stuck with me. Everyone starts somewhere. The job itself was exciting, but it tested me every single day. Deadlines came faster. Expectations were higher. Sometimes I'd stay late just to understand one email chain, but I learned something important. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to keep showing up. There were days I felt like I didn't belong. People laughed at jokes I didn't get. Inside, I felt invisible. But instead of giving up, I told myself, keep going. You'll catch up. And little by little, I did. Making friends, that was another battle. Everyone already had their own circle, their own rhythm. And I was the outsider trying to find a way in. So I joined language exchange meetups, weekend clubs, anything that could help me connect. At first, I stood there quietly, pretending to check my phone, listening, smiling, trying to catch every word, but I kept showing up. And slowly, those small talks turned into real conversations. A coffee here, a lunch there, and before I knew it, I had friends who felt like family. That taught me something. Friendships aren't found, they're built, one moment at a time. Outside of work, life had its own set of challenges. Public transport was a mystery. One rainy day, I missed my bus. Twice, I was cold, wet, and completely lost. But instead of breaking down, I took a deep breath and thought, adapt. Stay calm. Find another way. I asked a local for help, and they explained kindly, even walked me part of the way. That small moment reminded me that kindness exists everywhere. You just have to reach out. The language barrier was the hardest part. I wanted to sound confident, but sometimes words disappeared right when I needed them. So I started carrying a small notebook, my personal dictionary of mistakes and discoveries. Every day, I wrote down new words, idioms, phrases, even random slang I overheard. Then I'd practice them out loud, shadowing movies or real conversations. At night, I recorded myself speaking and listened back. Yes, it was awkward at first, but slowly, my pronunciation improved, my confidence grew, and one day, I realized I was finally thinking in English. Of course, homesickness still hit me sometimes. Birthdays, holidays, quiet weekends. I'd scroll through old photos, missing my family, the smell of my mom's cooking, the sound of familiar streets. But I learned to bring a piece of home with me. I called my family often, cooked traditional dishes, shared photos, and even taught friends about my culture. I realized something beautiful. Home isn't just a place. It's the people you carry inside you. Social norms were tricky too. Humor didn't always translate. Sometimes I laughed at the wrong time or sounded too formal without meaning to, but every mistake was just another chance to grow. I started observing more carefully: tone, gestures, timing, all the little things that make communication real. When I didn't understand something, I asked politely, curiously, and people appreciated that. That's when I truly understood. Fitting in isn't about changing who you are. It's about expanding who you can be. Weeks turned into months. Work got smoother. Conversations felt easier. Life began to flow. One day, I caught myself helping a newcomer, showing them where to buy groceries, how to use transport apps, where to find good local food. And I smiled, because not long ago, that lost person was me. And now I was the one giving directions. That's when I realized growth isn't about reaching the top. It's about turning around and helping someone climb too. As weeks turned into months, something inside me started to shift. I wasn't the nervous newcomer anymore. I could find my way around the city without checking my phone every 5 seconds. I could talk to strangers, order food, joke with coworkers, and actually understand their jokes this time. The same streets that once felt intimidating now felt familiar. The same language that once scared me now felt like a bridge, connecting me to people, to stories, to life itself. And I realized something powerful. Living abroad isn't just about surviving. It's about becoming stronger, wiser, more independent than you've ever been. Every challenge I faced, getting lost, feeling lonely, misunderstanding people, had slowly shaped me into a tougher version of myself. At first, those moments felt like setbacks. Now, I see them as lessons. Each one taught me something about patience, persistence, and courage. Each small win, like having a full conversation in English or helping a newcomer find their way, felt huge. And over time, those small wins started adding up. I discovered the magic of routine and the power of showing up for yourself every single day, even when I was tired, even when I didn't feel like it. I spent a few minutes daily learning new words, practicing pronunciation, shadowing real conversations from videos and podcasts. Shadowing changed everything. It helped me feel the rhythm of English, not just understand it. The tone, the emotion, the flow, they started to become part of me. And one day, I noticed something amazing. I was no longer translating English in my head. I was thinking in it. That's when I realized language learning is more than words. It's mindset training. It's learning how to stay consistent, curious, and confident, even when things get hard. One morning, I sat in my favorite cafe watching people pass by. I took a sip of coffee and smiled quietly to myself because I knew how far I'd come. From that confused, shy traveler at the airport to someone who had built a new life, a new rhythm, a new version of home. I thought about all the late nights, the awkward conversations, the homesick moments. Every single one had led me here, and for the first time, I didn't just live in a new country. I belonged here. So if you're thinking about moving abroad, or if you're already in the middle of that crazy, beautiful chaos, remember this. It's okay to feel lost. It's okay to feel scared. Those feelings mean you're growing. Celebrate your small wins. Be kind to yourself. Keep learning, keep going, because every step forward, yes, no matter how small, counts. And here's something I've learned. The same mindset that helps you adapt to a new country can also help you master English. And honestly, almost anything in life. Shadowing, listening, repeating, they're not just about improving pronunciation. They're about building discipline, confidence, and mental strength. So as you shadow this video, don't just repeat the words. Feel them. Let them remind you of your own journey, your own courage, your own growth. Repeat after me. I am capable of adapting and thriving. Every challenge is a step toward my growth. I can succeed in a new country and in my English journey. Remember, success isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about courage. It's about learning something new every single day. So take a deep breath. Keep practicing. Keep shadowing. Keep moving forward. One word, one step, one day at a time. And before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever lived abroad or thought about it? What's been your biggest challenge or your fear? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's learn and grow together. And if this story inspired you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs a little motivation today. Because your next step could be the start of something amazing.